This is Sybert signing into Red Alert 3 on the map BattleBase Beta. So we are back with a classic map, although this game was played a little while ago. Welcome to 2022. Hopefully we'll get to see some of those new maps that we saw in the Christmas tournament a little bit more this year. As the Purple Soviets in the north, this is Harlen. And as the Cyan Soviets in the south, this is DDF. A Soviets mirror featuring Harlen and DDF. I believe these are both Chinese players, so I believe this was played on the Chinese server. Looks like it's going to be double refinery from Harlen and refinery into War Factory from DDF. Now, real quick, before we go anywhere else, yes, the Corona beta has launched. Now, that is kind of a scary-sounding sentence, but the Red Alert 3 mod, Corona, which introduces a fourth faction, a ton of new units, a ton of new insanity by the looks of it, has launched into open beta. They have been working on this mod for years and years, so it's had that name for many, many years, but it is now coming to us all in an exciting and fun way, unlike other things, which maybe come to us with great sadness. However, I'm excited to check out this mod. I'm excited to see what it is all about. From the trailer, which, by the way, great trailer from those guys. Like, a crazy amount of extra effort. They didn't just record a bunch of footage and then cut it together to some music. They went way above and beyond in their open beta trailer, so definitely go check that out. I don't know that it's going to be a replacement for competitive Red Alert 3. Fast Third Refinery coming out here from Harlen. Not like super crazy aggressive because of course he did get the War Factory, but it's Super Reactor after the third refinery for Harlen, whereas it's teching up first for DDF. So a little bit of a different approach from the north and the south to this game. Looks like looks like a little bit of a terror drone going to be getting some delays here in the middle of the map. Once again, Harlen gets busted out from these buildings by DDF. He's trying to take back control of the middle of the map, despite the fact that his vehicles were maybe a little bit later to getting there in force. Last conscript does go down, which means that this building is going to be a little bit more difficult to break for DDF. Anyways, it looks like the mod is absolutely insane, and it looks like it's going to introduce a ton of fun stuff. If this is not a very good competitive mod, I think it will be a ton of fun for you to play with your friends, for you to play in single player. It just looks absolutely insane in the best way. Kind of like how Uprising in it is insane in a really fun way. And like Gen Evo, if you want to send in some replays, hopefully we get to see some good games on the beta. And yeah, so that took maybe a little bit longer, but this game getting underway and a little bit of harassment coming in here from DDF. He's a little bit spread thin, especially with this terror drone allowing the MCV to get a crush on that sickle. Nice, easy kill there. One hammer tank going to be splitting off to deal with the hammer tank of DDF. All behind this, DDF is getting a third refinery. If he wasn't, this would be a travesty of a move strategically, but he is getting that third refinery behind this. Of course, he already had his super reactor up first, so it does suck that he loses out on being able to have a huge number of hammer tanks more than his opponent, but he should still have an equal number to his opponent, perhaps even a couple of more, and we'll see how Twin Blades, MiGs, and other airfield units factor into this, because every step of the way, DDF has been ahead on tech. Faster War Factory, faster Super, faster airfield. Now, in this first instance, hammer tanks got equalized. Harlen was able to clean up those hammers with his own and with his MCV, so kind of evening the playing field just a little bit here. Terror drone heads out on the right side of the map for Harlen. DDF is going to have to be a little bit worried about that, especially if his MCV gets caught with its pants down. Nope, fortunately it does deploy at a safe distance, and this drone is going to be here to see that harvester right at the beginning. Hopefully, Twin Blade heads over there to deal with that. DDF is going to put some pressure on at the third. One Terror drone gets sniped. The Sickle as well. Great use of that Twin Blade to clean that up. And maybe even, no, it doesn't delay this refinery at all. The Terror drone just gets sniped. And that should be a little signal to Harlen to go ahead and send another Terror drone out to that right side. If DDF thinks he's safe, he might not defend that area. One hammer tank gets eaten up. Nice use of the leech beam as well. This is 2 double gun hammer tanks, and now the Terror drone gets a drop on a third hammer tank. Bullfrog going to be pushing that Twin Blade back, so it's hammer versus hammer, and DDF trying to delay as much as possible. This is not a winnable fight, but if he can get that 4th refinery up and running, he feels like he maybe has a chance. It's up and running as well for Harlen, so now they're staying neck and neck. No one has killed the other ones. Oil derrick, nothing like that. 3rd refinery taking a little bit of harassment, lost mining time. This should be savable, but Harlen may want to commit to this super hard. He's got 4 hammer tanks here, a couple of them with those double guns. Terror drone for a Terror drone, and it's going to be satellites getting called in for Harlen. So he is committing to this. Satellites for DDF as well. The Terror drone goes down. The hammer tank gets eliminated, but the build radius is preserved by the barracks. Beautiful move there by DDF, and he's going to be pushing forward. This is against double gun hammer tanks, so he's going to be losing this fight. Twin Blade comes in. No anti-air is present for Harlen, so the Twin Blade will reign supreme. The refinery comes back up for DDF, and it looks like he's going to be able to give the runaround to these hammer tanks. He just wants the Twin Blade to kill off the hammers. He doesn't want to engage with his own hammers, if at all possible. Extra gun gets added on to one of DDF's hammer tanks, but the buildings get taken control of by Harlen, so he's got that bit of info. MCV does not get crushed. That's a crane on the high ground for the repairs, and a potential 5th refinery coming up here for Harlen, just a little bit behind the 5th refinery of DDF. DDF clears out the buildings, takes control of them for himself. You never want to be leaving those open. It's just, at the very least, it's a minor annoyance, and at the very most, your opponent is going to stick some flak troopers in there when you're not expecting it and get free shots off on your air units or on your vehicles as they are passing back by those buildings, and you're going to be losing stuff left and right when you least expect it. You see Empire players do that kind of stuff all the time, especially here on BattleBase Beta. It's pretty good on Temple Prime as well. Twin Blades do have a little bit of a safe zone, but the MiG does get sniped, so they're not safe from other MiGs. Twin Blade for a MiG, but a Bullfrog will get caught, and hammer tanks deal with that very nicely. 5th refinery coming up here for Harlen in the north. Twin Blades reforming the front line with these hammers. 4 hammers and a Bullfrog, a Terror drone as well. Just enough power to do a lot of damage, and just few enough units that you can usually control them all well. Both of these guys feel like they're playing really crisp, not totally perfect, but making solid decisions, and the unit control feels really crisp between the two of them. Flak cannon a little bit late. If DDF had been aware of that, he may have been able to do something about it. Beautiful naval yard block of this Terror drone, completely cuts it off from that harvester, and that animation was so delayed that it looked like the Terror drone just stopped pointlessly before infecting that harvester. Half the health off of that Bullfrog, a chunk of that from the conscripts in that building. 1 Bullfrog on the low ground gets sniped. Harvester, that one is not important, but the Terror drone surprised beautifully. Lucky there, beautifully lucky for DDF as he manages to essentially get a free kill on this hammer tank. Terror drone, in fact, a hit for a hit, as it looks like Terror drones are going to be getting their way with both hammer tanks on both sides. Double guns on the side of Harlen, and Harlen's units are just a little bit better here in this engagement, despite the fact that he's now going to be losing 2 hammer tanks, 2 Terror drones, and both of these hammer tanks may be able to infect other hammer tanks. No, Harlen cleans them all up. Very nicely done. And he's keeping the pressure on DDF. DDF's army has expired. He was going for Tier 3, and it looks like the timing of that was just a little bit too bold. Another hammer tank does get infected. This Terror drone making its way through the entire army of Harlen, but because DDF went for that Tier 3 maybe a little bit too soon, his army was no match for Harlen's, and Harlen once again gets a kill on the high ground refinery. At the same time, gets the infect on the ore collector at the 5th. The crusher crane is going to have to be brought in to save that. DDF starting to fall apart here as Harlen rolls little win into a big win. But now the APOC tanks are here. One is going to go for the grind on this. Well, not even needs to go for the grind, just goes for the crush on that hammer tank. Once again, DDF perfectly maintains the build radius, the walls, the flak cannon, all absorbing the damage to keep the barracks alive, and that Twin Blade does lift. His New Year's resolution is to get those abs, and he has got them with this APOC tank harass of the 5th refinery. A Tesla coil and a flak cannon, I think, or maybe a double Tesla coil as this MCV is about to get ground to dust. Reinforcements coming in here for Harlen. Is he going to be able to save this? Satellite's now going to be getting called in, and it's going to be the MiGs to clear out the Twin Blades. At the same time, the Twin Blades from Harlen coming in to deal with the APOC tank. The Terror drone keeping it in place, and the MCV gets saved. Harlen completely denying the backstab of DDF. That may not have been DDF's total Hail Mary, but it feels like DDF was really counting on that play to do a whole lot more than it did. Harlen has been the one on the other side of the map, keeping the aggression up, keeping the harvester count down, shutting refineries down whenever he can, and he has been rewarded for it. His army growing in size, but now that the APOC tanks are out, let's see if DDF's second and third APOC tank can perhaps do a bit more damage than his first one. MCV moves to the middle of the map for DDF. Harlen probably, engineer repairs his own Conyard, moves it a bit closer to that Tesla coil, makes it a little bit less of an obvious target. Buildings get grabbed up by Harlen in preparation for this fight, and okay, Natasha could totally change the way this fight looks. That snipe in the right place could totally demolish or help demolish this army. We'll see how the Twin Blades play into it. Single Twin Blade coming through for harassment. DDF, he's bought himself enough time. He's bought himself enough space. A couple of MiGs close in. I'm not sure what the point of that Twin Blade was. It almost feels like there should have been some flak troopers inside of there or something. But one single Twin Blade isn't likely to do anything. Low power mode for DDF. Bit of a miscalculation there, placing the Tesla coil right on the front line. Stingray sneaks out. The body-blocking naval yard now coming into play. Twin Blades trying to find an angle to snipe Natasha, as Harlen doesn't want to have to deal with Natasha nonsense. And it looks like they're going to find it. No, Natasha gets pulled back. Double block the barracks literally just to buy time. Can you believe it? Satellite's getting called in, but it's a whiff. Natasha does survive. Is it V4? Yeah, it's V4 versus V4. Terror drone getting mixed in. This single Stingray walks across land, and it's a Kirov as well. The front line is going to explode, but this Kirov is going to be unmatched in the south. The Crusher Crane and the refinery can both be gotten basically for free, as this guy has more than enough health. The MiGs coming in to support, and this is something that absolutely DDF did not see coming. He once again maintains his build radius just barely. The reactor is there, and the DDF survives that engagement. But back in the middle of the map, it looks like 1v4 has gone down for each side. The snipe from Natasha, it's going to be the conscript to recover that V4. Reactor saves the refinery, perfectly placed there by DDF. Natasha gets sniped. Well done there by Harlen. These two guys going back and forth. It felt like a couple of minutes ago Harlen had a big advantage, but it feels like DDF is starting to scrape something back together. That Kirov almost broke the back of Harlen, or of DDF, but Harlen has not broken him yet. MiGs trading blows. Twin Blades getting their wings clipped by DDF, but he loses a MiG in response. The refinery comes back up. The V4 goes fully heroic, and it looks like all of the base defenses have been sniped. V4 goes for a big miss as the APOC tanks move forward. Actually might have been going for that Tesla coil. And both of these oil derricks have survived pretty late into the game, long enough to see an Iron Curtain get added to the battlefield. Twin Blades, V4, and Bullfrogs, a tough thing to break. Flak Cannon getting added on by Harlen. That's now a pretty expensive refinery location, but the fact that he's broken down multiple refineries of DDFs kind of evens things out. Again, a few minutes ago, it felt like Harlen had scraped an advantage together, but now I honestly don't know which way it's going to go. It could be the Iron Curtain firing first for Harlen that allows him to win the game. It could be some killer defensive strategy and just a slow pulling apart of Harlen that allows DDF to win. V4's on the north, Twin Blades in the south. The harassment along the edges of the map is the only place either player is able to find any advantage, any purchase against their opponent. V4's kind of trading blows, somewhat uncontained. Reactor gets sniped. Twin Blades get called away. Just about a minute 40 for Harlen left on that Iron Curtain. MCV redeploys where? Oh my gosh, that fully heroic V4 just absolutely calling the shots from way over there. I cannot believe how far away that V4 can shoot. Mig's showing up. Man, that guy is just doing massive damage. Twin Blade gets sniped. It looks like Harlen got the kill there. One APOC tank gets sniped. Bullfrog still not even needing to step forward. The Twin Blade's getting eaten up. A critical mistake there by DDF. Let's see if it pays off. Harpoons firing for both sides. Satellites catching the V4s. The APOC tanks getting caught as well. And what is this Tesla coil way back behind where no one is even fighting? It's Harlen versus DDF. APOC to APOC, but the V4 from Harlen. And he manages to get the capture on the APOC as well. DDF is broken. The Terror Drone gets an infect on one of the APOC. No, wrong APOC tank. He killed the wrong APOC tank. I'm not sure what that was about. He was maybe actually giving the gun, an APOC gun, to a hammer tank, and DDF is now trying to wheel and deal along the north side of the map to try and find some kind of advantage. His single V4 is now going to get sniped. One last rocket fires off, and he'll get the kill on the refinery with his last rocket as this hammer tank fighting with the best of them. Dreadnought's coming in. Natasha goes for the snipe. The Terror Drone will get the kill on the other APOC tank, and the hammer will fall to the Kirov. But no, an additional APOC comes online. The Bullfrogs pivot away from the front line. The refinery goes down. DDF holds the line with Kirovs, but the MiGs crashing in as the Bullfrogs ward them away. The APOCs catch one Bullfrog. A second is in the danger zone. No, they pull away. 3 APOCs wait in response. The timers are almost at 0 for both players. Harlen ready to fire off, but his Stingray being chased away in the south is going to get a free kill on that Harvester, maybe on the refinery as well. Harlen versus DDF, trying to be one of the most entertaining videos in 2022 right from January 1. Even though this game was played a while ago. Terror Drone gets the infect. DDF losing refineries almost on every section of the map. Natasha, a single Twin Blade. Are you kidding me? Almost sniping Natasha. He's gonna get the kill. Barely. Natasha goes down. The Twin Blade trying to reverse and move away to show his flare. I cannot believe DDF let Natasha get sniped by that single Twin Blade. Iron Curtain ready to fire off for both players, and it's just like, as soon as you launch your Iron Curtain, I will launch my Iron Curtain. Kirovs, 2 of them on the front line. Are they better than Twin Blades? I guess that might be possible. Harvester will get healed there. Kirov, one of them gets sniped, doesn't quite crash, and the APOC tanks are now going to be safe from the other Kirov. The Bullfrogs as well, going to be blasting them down, and the return Iron Curtain hasn't fired off. There it is. 3 APOC tanks get caught. I think he was trying to wait for enough time. Oh no. This hammer tank may also have been caught by DDF's Iron Curtain. Harlen disengages, cleans up most of the Bullfrogs, and Harlen's forces survive, but it's 3 APOC tanks versus 2 And yeah, that hammer tank of Harlen did get caught by the Iron Curtain of DDF. A clutch move there to keep his forces alive. The double-barrel hammer tank with an APOC gun. And those Iron Curtains were not the most pivotal Iron Curtains we have ever seen. DDF now trying to split his forces into groups to do damage in multiple spots, but he might just be getting picked apart. He's got no anti-air support for his APOC tanks. The Twin Blades are free to rain down death upon them, and it's just about the delay of game. Harlen doesn't need to kill these APOCs fast. He just needs to do more damage back home to DDF. APOC tanks call in the satellites, and they're going to try and escape. It's only 4 Twin Blades here for Harlen, so they do not kill tanks very quickly. Satellites get called in, crush that refinery, and the return fire a refinery for a refinery as the terror drones come in. One of them gets the infect, and DDF has been defeated. The slow grind will not be played out as Harlen gets the win against DDF. What a great back and forth from these two Soviet players, showing us BattleBase Beta with about as even as a playing field as you could ask for. Slightly different openers, but in the end, they stayed so close to each other, neck and neck, throughout that entire game. Barely a difference between them. However, it feels like, yeah, DDF did a much better job of keeping his units alive. That double-barrel hammer tank adding so much weight and strength to the forces of Harlen. That will do it for this video, for this match. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And this is Sybert, signing out.